only mode.
Very good morning, everyone. This is Santosh Chaurasia. Welcomes you all on behalf of HDFC Security. So today we will just have a session on importance of SIP in financial goal. So this is basically you can just understand how SIP make a role in your financial goal. So for this, we have Mr. Kapil from Kotak mutual fund AMC. He having a good experience of 6 years in sales training uh, uh, with certification of BBA Finance and MBA Marketing. So Kapil, uh, good morning and just over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Santoshji. So I can take it ahead from here, I hope. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, Kapil, you are audible but a bit low.
Okay. Yes, can anyone confirm?
No, it's perfect. Kapil, now it is not audible basically.
Not audible?
Very low sound.
Microphone on altogether.
Yeah, now it's perfect.
All right, great. So thank you so much for having me here. And today we are here to discuss about the importance of SIP in financial goals. So we're going to take it ahead from here. We're going to go ahead with a few concepts. We're going to take a look at those. And thank you, Santosh ji, for a great introduction of mine. So from here, we'll go ahead to the understanding a concept, and before that, we are going to talk about a story, right? So this is the story of the king and his advisor. Okay, so this is where mostly the we think about Akbar, Birbal, we think about Raja Krishna Devaraya and Tenali Raman. So it can be very much similar to all these stories. So this is an solution to an age-old problem. Okay, when someone was asked, if you want 1 million right now, okay, or you want to get 1 rupee today, make that double tomorrow, make 2 rupees double tomorrow, make 4 rupees double tomorrow, right? So if that goes on for the next 2 months, which option will you choose? All right, so that is the question here. Okay, first one is getting 1 million upfront, or the second option is, this is a chessboard, right? So as you can see here, this is a chessboard. So if you have 1 grain of rice today, 2 grains of rice tomorrow, okay, 4 grains of rice on the third day. So basically what you're doing, you're doubling up your let's say food grains. Okay, so first day 1, then 2, then 4, then it goes to 8, 16, 32, right? 64, 128, 256, 512. So that's how it will go on doubling up. All right, and that will continue for each of the chess squares. That is, there are 64 squares, right? So in that case, which option would you choose, right? So normally what happens, people tend to choose 1 million right here right now. All right, but just by opting for the second option, just see what is the amount that you tend to get at the end of 64 days.
Kapilji, sorry to
Okay.
interrupt. One of our customer is willing to have this session in Hindi, so you just mix some Hindi in your conversation, basically.
Okay, I'll try for Hindi. बीच बीच में कभी भी हिंदी में भी बात कर लेंगे, right? Right, ठीक है. So as I was saying, अगर हम लोग फर्स्ट से लेके 64th स्क्वायर तक हर एक whatever amount of food grains that we have, if we double that, just see the amount that we will be having at the end of 64 days. Okay, that is 92,000 crore, right? So that is coming around to somewhere in the quintillion. Okay, so we have a million, we have a billion, then we have a quadrillion, a trillion, then we have a quadrillion, then comes quintillion. So this is somewhere in 18, somewhere around 18 quintillion. Okay, so just to put it in a perspective of the world's production of wheat, okay, पूरी दुनिया में कितना wheat प्रोड्यूस होता है, उससे 2000 गुना ज्यादा आपके पास होगा अगर आप इस मेथड को चूज करते तो. फर्स्ट ऑप्शन में क्या था, 1 मिलियन राइट हियर राइट नाउ, या फिर आप अपनी चीजों को डबल करते जाओगे हर दिन फॉर द नेक्स्ट 64 डेज. ओके, सो एक बहुत बड़ी सीख मिलती है हमको इस पुराने क्वेश्चन से और इस सॉल्यूशन से. ओके, what is that understanding, what is that answer that we get? Can we go and move on to the next slide, please? The concept that we are discussing, or the concept that was work at the earlier question, was the power of compounding. Okay, so we call power of compounding as one of the eighth wonder of the, as in the eighth wonder of the world. You can see there are many wonders of the world that we can see, and compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It was said by Mr. Albert Einstein. Okay, he might have not, but I'm sure everyone will agree that it is the eighth wonder of the world, right? So another tagline to it is, those who understand it earn it, those who don't will pay it. Okay, so people who understand this concept, people who are willing to take benefit of this power of compounding, they will earn. Those who do not, they will pay the money, right? That's what we are going to talk about, right? So power of compounding in the next slides as well, where we're going to talk about SIP. This is one great concept which is applicable there as well. Okay, that is the power of compounding, how you get the ball rolling and more gets attached to it once it starts rolling. Especially if you have seen in the old cartoons, you would have seen a ball of ice rolling down a mountain, right? So as it picks up speed and as it moves down further, more and more ice gets, or snow gets, attached to that ball of snow, and it becomes bigger and bigger. So that is a graphical representation of power of compounding, but just it is the other way around. It goes up rather than coming down, right? So can we move on to the next slide, please? So here is where the concept of the borrower and investor comes. Okay, so we can be on both sides of it. We can be on the borrower side, or we can be on the investor side, right? If we are on the borrower side, there will be a rate of interest that we have to pay, right? We have borrowed certain money, we have to pay a certain rate of interest, right? So if you are in that, you would feel that the rate of interest should be as low as possible. So lower the better. Okay, so if you are in that, if you come in that part, then you want your rate of interest to be as less as possible. Okay, while the other way around, if you move on to the investor part, okay, if you come into that category now, for the investor, again, it is rate of returns rather than the rate of interest. Okay, you will earn whatever interest or whatever returns that you get, you earn that by investing money. Okay, and in this scenario, higher the better. So in this scenario, the rate of return should be as high as possible. Okay, so if you are a borrower, then the rate of interest should be as low as possible. You would wish for it to be as less as possible. But the other way around, if you are an investor, if you are earning a certain rate of return, then you want it to be as higher as possible, right? Higher the better. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide. Thank you. So why do we talk about investments? We are talking about the higher rate of return. We are talking about the interest rate. If you are a borrower, should be as low as possible, right? We are going to talk about investments in correct places, SIPs, and everything. Why do we talk about this? The most important obstacle to a great life, to a good wealth creation strategy, are these two in front of you: inflation and shrinkflation. Okay, inflation is what? Inflation is the rising prices of the commodities, of whatever goods and products that you use around you, services. Okay, the prices rise. Why? Because there is less of that commodity and more of people, or the value of money falls, right? So if today you can buy, let's say, 1 kg of apples in 100 rupees, maybe after 1 year you will not be able to buy 1 kg of apple in 100 rupees. You will have to pay 110 rupees. Or the second thing, that is shrinkflation. Okay, somewhat very nice concept, I would say. Okay, many people do not know about this sometimes. So what is shrinkflation? Where the prices remain the same. We have all heard about inflation, महंगाई सबने सुनी है, right? और महसूस भी की है. हर साल prices बढ़ते जाते हैं, right? Same amount, लेकिन हमको ज्यादा पैसा देना पड़ता है उन्हीं चीजों के लिए. But about shrinkflation, many people have not heard. What is shrinkflation? It is the prices remaining same, but the quantity has been reduced. तो ये जो companies होते हैं, उनको भी पता है कि अगर हम लोग प्राइसेस बढ़ाएंगे तो उन चीजों के लिए लोगों का डिमांड कम हो जाएगा, स्पेशली इफ इट इज लेट्स से एंड नॉट एन रिक्वायरमेंट, नॉट अ नीड. ओके, जैसे ये जो लेस का पैकेट हम लोग देखते हैं, इट इज नॉट अ नीड, राइट? ग्रोसरीज आर नीड्स, वो तो लोग खरीदेंगे ही खरीदेंगे. सॉल्ट, शुगर, ये सब चीजें जितनी भी महंगी हो जाएंगी लोग खरीद लेंगे. लेकिन अगर लेस का पैकेट है, इट इज कमिंग समवॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ अ लग्जरी, राइट? जिनके पास पैसे हैं या फिर जिनको थोड़ा नीड्स के ऊपर देखना है, वो खरीद सकते हैं एज एन एंटरटेनमेंट, एज एन एंजॉयमेंट, व्हाटएवर. ओके, सो अगर इसका प्राइस बढ़ जाता है तो शायद इसके लिए डिमांड कम हो जाए, लोग इसको खरीदना कम कर देंगे, पैसे बचाए, राइट? So that is why what do these companies do? They will keep the prices same, but they will reduce the quantity. That is shrinkflation. Okay, you would have seen this, way across in all the products around you, both inflation and shrinkflation. एक अमाउंट सेम रह जाता है लेकिन प्राइस बढ़ जाती है, या फिर दूसरा जहां पे अमाउंट सेम रहेगा लेकिन क्वांटिटी कम कर दी जाएगी. डेयरी मिल्क का ऑप्शन ये देख लीजिए, एग्जाम्पल, जहां पे पहले थोड़ा बड़ा क्वांटिटी आता था 10 रुपए में, उसमें गोल्ड फॉइल रैप रहता था, सब कुछ एकदम, और इतना जाड़ा रहता था. बट नाउ इट हैज बिकम वेरी थिन. The gold foil has been discarded. There is only one plastic cover now, and it's plain and simple, very thin, right? So that is the very good example of shrinkflation. Okay, so when these two things are adding up, when these two things are acting on your wealth creation strategy, अगर आप पैसा बचत करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, आप सेविंग अकाउंट में रख रहे हो, आप एफडी में रख रहे हो, आपको इसको अपने कंसिडरेशन में लेना चाहिए दैट योर रिटर्न्स ऑन योर इन्वेस्टमेंट शुड बी हायर देन द इन्फ्लेशन. तभी आपका वेल्थ क्रिएट हो. ओके, नॉर्मली इन्फ्लेशन अगर 6 से 7% के बीच में है, 6 to 7%, your returns on investment wherever you do should be higher than this inflation rate. अगर इससे कम है, अगर आपको 4% या 3% इंटरेस्ट रेट मिल रहा है, then आप अपनी जेब से पैसा दे रहे हो. You are paying out of your own pocket to ensure that you are meeting inflation. Okay, it's a very big wealth destroyer. It takes away your purchasing power. All right, so always ensure that your returns on investment should be higher than this inflation rate. Yeah, so can we move ahead to the next screen? Thank you. So अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट करने की बात करेंगे, you have a flexibility here. All right, so normally a mutual fund will go somewhere between 9 to 15%. I'm just giving you a very approximate figure here. Okay, that will itself show you how it is going to be higher than the inflation rate. Okay, that is how it will show you that it is going to help in creation of wealth. To invest in this mutual funds, you have many different types of options available with you. You have a lump sum option. That is, if you have a good amount of money with you, you can put that money into mutual funds one time. Okay, in a lump sum. Okay, then you have an SIP option. SIP option is a great option when you do not know how the markets are going to perform in the future, or you think that there is going to be a lot of volatility. That means बहुत ऊपर नीचे होने वाला है. So in this case, SIP is one of the best options. There are a few more, one of them being compounding, one of them being averaging out concept. I'll come to that. But SIP, how that's going to benefit you, we are going to take a look at that in the coming slides. So first one, we talked about lump sum. Then we have SIP. Then there is option of systematic withdrawal plan, SWP. Okay, so this is where you invest in lump sum and you can take periodic withdrawals from your investment. So you have investment a certain amount of money, you have invested it into the market. There are returns that are getting generated on your corpus. Okay, so you will be able to withdraw a certain amount at periodic intervals as you require. That is systematic withdrawal plan. Okay, then there is systematic transfer plan as well, STP. All right, what this is all about, it is where normally in a very volatile market, normal people would invest in a liquid fund. If they have a lump sum amount of money, they will invest in a liquid fund and opt for a systematic transfer every month, every week, every day, whatever, into a equity fund, into a high risk, high equity fund for higher returns. अगर एक साथ बहुत बड़ा अमाउंट आप कहीं पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, alright, so let's say, and we have an equity fund, you opted for a lump sum investment. Maybe in the short term, as you all know, equity is quite volatile in the short term. So let's say in the next 2-3 days, the equity markets went down. All right, and saying lump sum, obviously it will be a considerable amount. Let's take an example of 1 crore rupees. Okay, so if you have invested 1 crore rupees lump sum, in the next 2-3 days, if the market goes down, then you will immediately start seeing a negative return, right? You will start seeing a red in your portfolio. All right, so to avoid that, most of the people would go for an STP option. Okay, STP is systematic transfer plan, where investing in a liquid fund, and over the course of the next 1 year or the course of the next 2 years, slowly and steadily, this corpus is getting invested into the equity market. Liquid funds are very safe as compared to an equity fund. All right, hence it will be getting transferred to that equity fund slowly. You will get the benefit out of the growing equity market as well, and you will get the safety of that liquid fund. Okay, that is just an example. The same can be applied to a debt fund and transferring it to an equity fund. That can be done. Okay, SIP. So we are here to talk about the uh, benefits of an SIP, right? So once we have discussed all these three, now let's move on to SIP. What is SIP? It is a systematic investment plan, okay, where through the course of a certain amount of time, you will be investing a certain amount at that exact time, exact date, periodically. Okay. So for example, we have daily SIPs, we have weekly SIPs, we have monthly SIPs. Okay. If you do not know how the market is going to perform, especially in the future, which most of us do not know about, then SIP is the best bet. Why? Can we move on to the next slide? Yeah. So this is how an SIP works. Okay. So NAV is the price of one unit of a mutual fund. Okay. So at the beginning of every mutual fund, NAV is supposed to be 10. Okay. So if you are investing at 10 rupees, you are getting 5,000. Sorry, if you're investing 5,000 rupees per month, you will be getting 500 units, right? Because it's 10 rupees per unit. Next month, the NAV went up to 10.60. Okay. Obviously, that time you will be getting lesser amount of units, right? Because every month an SIP of 5,000 has been started. So on that date, at that time, whatever is that NAV, at that NAV only the units will be purchased. And depending on what is the NAV, depending on what is the net asset value or the price of one unit, the amount of units will be decided, right? So you can see that the yellow line that you can see going throughout this graph is the NAV. So it is 10, then 1060, then 960, 980, then it goes down to 890. Okay, and likewise it is moving up and down throughout the year. The orange bars that you see, 500, 471, this is the number of units. So it is inversely proportional. If the NAV goes high, then the amount of units that you get is low. Why? Because the fixed SIP is going on 5,000 rupees. But on the other way around, if the NAV drops down to 8.90, then the number of units that you get are higher. They go up to 561. Okay. So throughout the year, taking benefits out of this up and down of the NAV movement, you get more number of units whenever the NAV is going down, and you're getting lower number of units when the NAV is going up. But what is the end result? At the end of the year, because of taking benefit of buying at each and every stage during this whole year, you end up getting more number of units, and you get your NAV averaged out. Okay, so the cost per unit also goes down. You get more number of units rather than if you had invested full amount, that is the whole 60,000. If you had invested on the first month itself, you would have gotten at only 10 rupees NAV, and you would have gotten a certain number of units, around 6,000. Okay, but because of this up and down, you get the benefit of buying at the low NAV also. You get more units with you, so that will lead to somewhere around 6,400 units at the end of the year. Okay, so this is the concept of rupee cost averaging, where you buy at many different points throughout the year or during a person period, and you get your NAV averaged out. Okay, so this is one of the great concepts of SIPs. Okay, especially if you do not know how the market is going to perform, this is one of the best options, right? Because it will get the benefit of each and every situation in 1 year, 2 years, whatever, throughout a certain period. it will take the benefit of each and every cycle of the market. Okay, and it will give you an averaged out NAV. It will give you a higher number of units if you're looking in the long term. Okay, and this trend line you're seeing, this tends to go up slightly, and the cost per unit, as in the averaged out NAV, comes out to be lesser than 10, somewhere around 9.60. Okay, so that's a really great opportunity, or a really great uh, thing to happen. Okay, yeah, can we move on to the next slide, please? So in volatile markets, like we were discussing, when the markets are high, the NAV is high, so your investment value is high. Okay, so if you have bought, let's say, 500 units at 10 rupees NAV, if the markets go up, the NAV goes up to 20, then your investment value is also doubled, right? If the markets go down, the NAV goes down, you will be investing through an SIP mode, right? So the next time when the NAV goes down, the number of units allocated goes up, right? So you are in a win-win situation here. Even if market goes up, your investment value is going up. If the market is going down, more number of units are getting allocated to you, and in the long term, that is going to benefit you anyways, right? So this is like a win-win situation. आपके दोनों हाथों में लड्डू है, right? Can we move on to the next slide, please? So we were talking about lump sum. The same way, the same concept can be applied to lumps. We were talking about SIP, sorry. The same concept can be applied to a lump sum investment as well. So if in a market cycle, let's say we invested at a high point, and immediately ahead in the next 1 or 2 months, the market took a correction, it went down. Okay, then obviously this sad face will be representing all of us, right? We'll have to wait, let's say, around 7 to 8 months to move back into the happy mode, right? If you invest in a single point by a lump sum investment. Instead of that, instead of even trying to time the market, why not invest in trenches? That is, let's say if you have 10 lakh rupees, why not invest 3 lakhs every month in the next 3 months? Okay, so what happens is the same, let's say, the same concept of an SIP, where a big amount doesn't get stuck in a certain way. It doesn't get, the whole amount is not at risk. Okay, you are investing basically, instead of the whole amount, you are investing in 30% every month. So what happens? You are getting benefit of this growth, and the losses that you see are also reduced. Okay, so instead of attempting to time the market, or trying to postpone it, waiting for this downward curve, no one knows when the market is going to go down. No one knows where the market will stop going down and it will start going up. Nobody knows, right? So instead of trying to wait for the correct time, why not invest? Why not stay in the market? Why not spend time in the markets, right? So it's a really great quote that says that instead of timing the market, spend time in the market. That is what is going to help you build your wealth, right? So your lump sum investments can also be done in trenches, can be done in small bits, to avoid the risk of a big fall in your investments, to avoid the risk of market correction in the short term. In the longer term, obviously, that is also okay, but it is advisable to do it in trenches. Yeah, so can we go ahead to the next slide? All right, so we'll take a great example of wealth creation if you are doing it through an SIP mode. All right, so if you're investing 10,000 rupees per month, you have invested for 5 years. Okay, so your investment is 6 lakh rupees. the corpus, that is what this 6 lakh rupees grows to be, is 8.11 lakhs. Okay, so we are considering everything here. We are considering, the growing markets, uh, the compounding, right, that we discussed earlier, right, the snowball effect, the compounding of interest, all of that we can add up to here. And as you go higher and higher in the number of years, okay, so for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you can see the investments are just 10,000 into the number of months. Okay, so 6 lakhs in 5 years, 12 lakhs in 10 years, 18 in 15 years, and 24 in 20 years. But just see the corpus that is building up, because your money is making more money for you, right? So that is the whole concept of compounding. तो जो 12 लाख आपने इन्वेस्ट किया 10 सालों में, वो आपको 12 लाख के तौर पे वापस नहीं मिलने वाला है, आपको मिलने वाला है 22.4 lakhs, 22 lakhs 40,000. ये आपको कॉर्पस जनरेट हो रहा है अगर हम लोग रिटर्न्स अज्यूम करते हैं 12% पर एनम, which is quite a decent rate at which the markets perform, right? If you see Nifty for the past 10-15 years, it is given a return of around 13 to 14% CAGR. So 12% per annum is quite a decent number. If you still go for some other mutual funds which can go even higher than this, they go somewhere around 15 to 17% as well. Okay, so I'm taking quite a decent figure here at 12%. So in 15 years, if the investment is 18 lakhs, the corpus generated is 47.59 lakhs. And in 20 years, 24 lakhs has been invested at 10,000 per annum, right? It is just plain and simple. Just 10,000 per annum, you have 10,000 per month, you have to keep aside from your income as an investment. And this continues for the next 20 years. So the growing markets, the compounding, everything working on it together, the corpus generated in 20 years is 91.98 lakhs. Okay, so this is the amount that you stand to generate if you have just invested 10,000 per month for the next 20 years. Okay, even going by a very basic index fund, okay, which invests in, it mirrors the index and it will do as the index does. So I think that's a good way to go. Now, are you going to just keep an investment of 10,000 per month for the next 20 years? Would you never grow? Would you never increase your income? Don't you think, looking at inflation, at the rate inflation is rising, at the rate the prices of the commodities are rising, you would require more corpus by the time 20 years are over, right? So there is another concept which we can talk about, or I would like to tell you about, is a top-up SIP. Can we move on to the next screen, please? Yes. So where we had invested only 10,000 per month for the next 20 years, here, according to the growing needs, according to the growing income, you can opt for a top-up SIP, okay, where a 1,000 per month increase every year can tend to give you a higher return in the long term. So I'll just take time to explain how this goes. Okay, so you did an investment of 10,000 rupees per month for the 1 year. From the next year, you started investing 11,000 rupees per month. From the next year, that is the third year, you started investing 12,000 rupees per year. Okay, so that's how it goes. First year 10,000, second year 11, third year 12,000 per month, third year 13,000, fourth year 13,000 per month. So that's how the top up works. So you are basically doing an higher investment, or you are doing a extra investment into your mutual funds. What is the effect of this top up of this 1,000 per month increase every year? What is the difference? We just saw the the corpus that was generated in the earlier slide if it would have been a simple SIP. Simple SIP is 10,000 per month throughout 20 years. But with a top-up SIP, just see the amount of difference that it is making. In 5 years, 6 lakhs will be invested, and in a simple SIP, it is 8.11 lakh. In a top-up SIP, it is going to be 9.54 lakhs. Okay. In 10 years, in the simple SIP, you would have gotten 22 lakhs. In a top-up SIP, if you are doing, increasing 1,000 per month every year, you are getting 30 lakhs as a corpus. Just take a look at the figures in 15 years and 20 years. Now, this is a very, I would say, big difference that you can see. In 15 years, it has gone up to 71.29 lakhs. In 20 years, it has gone up to 1.47 crores, right? Just by an increase of 1,000 rupees in the next year. 10,000 per month this year, 11,000 next year, 12,000 the next year of that, and 13,000. So that's how it goes. Okay. So by just increasing according, obviously your incomes are going to increase, but find time, find that amount from somewhere and try to go for a top-up SIP. It can create a vast difference. Like you can see here, it is 91.98 lakhs, and just by opting for a top-up SIP, it is going up to 1.47 crores. The returns again are assumed at 12% per annum. Okay, so that is the difference that you can tend to generate by just a small top-up every year. Okay, here you can see the big difference of power of compounding that is getting, which is working on your returns, which is working on your corpus. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So some financial goals that you can, invest. All these concepts can be applied to all these financial goals, right? Child's education, child's wedding, retirement for yourself, early retirement, right? That can be a good retirement. All these can be few financial goals. Annual vacations. So these are what normally we wouldn't think of, but yes, it is being quite on the, I would say, on most people's minds these days. Vacations. Children's education, obviously very important. The rising costs of even school or college educations, especially in the next 20-25 years, is going to be very high. So to prepare for that, obviously you need to start preparing right now. You need to understand these concepts and start investing. Retirement, a very, I would say, ignored life goal, especially until a person reaches 40s. This is some of the ignored goals of his or her financial planning, but it is not to be ignored, right? Just a minute. So retirement, normally people think about when they are in their 40s, right? But nowadays, an early retirement constitutes 40 or 45. Okay, so that is what people are looking at to get retired. Why? Because in that time they would have money, they will have the time, and also the good health to go on vacations or to enjoy a good retirement life. Maybe come up with their own business, right? And entrepreneurship. That can. Yeah. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So putting the earlier example, in this education, child's education or child wedding goal through an SIP. The SIP amount was 10,000 rupees, right? Investing every month, expected return somewhere around 12% per annum. So you could see in 10 years, it grew to 22 lakhs. In 15 years, it grew to 47.59 lakhs. So I think that should be a good goal, especially in 15 or 16 years when the child is about to go for higher education, pursue a college degree. That time, a good corpus like somewhere around 47 to 50 lakhs will be very helpful. And in the wedding part, in the next 20-25 years, if you have a corpus that is generated somewhere around 91 lakhs to 1 crore, that would be of a great help, I'm sure, right? So basically we are putting the example, we are putting the face to the example or the numbers that we discussed earlier, right? Can we move on to the next slide, please? So in the retirement planning phase, like normally people start in their 40s or 50s, which is obviously from the age 20, it is your earning age, right? So your earning life ends at 60. So let's say you started investing, you started thinking about your retirement at 30. So you have started investing 10,000 rupees for the next 30 years, all right, during your earning life. Again, we are going to take 12% per annum only. The corpus that tends to get generated by the time you reach your retirement age is 3.08 crores. Okay, so you made a great, obviously there is a lot of sacrifice there, right? 10,000 per month. And by the time you reach your retirement age, a great corpus was created to ensure that the next 20 years of your life, that is from 60 to 80, is very much sound. Okay, so there you can go for an systematic withdrawal plan of rupees 2.75 lakhs. Okay, at 9%, withdrawal plan for the next 20 years. So I would say that is a great withdrawal amount which would suffice or at least ensure a good retired life. Okay, so 10,000 investing 10,000 for the next 30 years, starting age 30 till 60, and for the next 20 years, that is from 60 to 80, there is a withdrawal plan available of 2.75 lakhs per month. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So the fourth life goal, annual vacations. So if an investment amount somewhere around 4.8 lakhs per annum for the 15 years has been invested, so 4 lakhs per annum means somewhere around 20 to 30,000 per month. Okay, and we are keeping the expected returns at 12% per annum. Just look at the expected withdrawal amount for the annual vacations if you are planning to go every year. Okay, so the 4 lakhs which were invested for 15 years, there is a withdrawal plan that can start at 5 lakhs per annum for 5 years, and it can be increased by 1.25 lakhs every 5 years. Okay, so can we move on to the next slide? That's where we can see the inflow and outflow. So you can see that for 15 years, there was an investment of 4 lakhs per annum. Okay, then starting the 6th year itself, not waiting till 15, starting 6th year itself, this person is able to withdraw 5 lakhs per annum for 5 years for the vacations. For the next 5 years, that is starting 11th year, 6.25 lakhs per annum can be withdrawn. From 16th year, 7.5 lakhs can be withdrawn, and it keeps on going up and higher and higher. So this can ensure a good corpus creation for going on vacations, right? So the investments part quite less, the withdrawals part is quite high, right? Why? Because obviously it is done through an SIP mode, and there is power of compounding that is getting worked. Okay, can we move on to the next slide, please? So this is a great example of home loan, EMI, and SIP. So if the loan amount is 50 lakh rupees and the tenure is 20, the EMI comes around somewhere between 49,000 to 50,000. Okay, so if you take 10% of that, okay, that is 4,992 as an SIP amount. And if you invest it for the next 20 years, that is the tenure of your home loan, at rate 12%, you generate a corpus of 45.91 lakhs. So in the next 20 years, when would you like to, if you want to pay off your home loan, or let's say pay off a good corpus at the end, this will be of a great help. It is going to generate somewhere around 45 lakhs for you. Just 10% of your EMI should go into an SIP. That will create a good corpus, which will help you, let's say, finish off your loan at the end of it. Okay, almost close to the loan amount, original loan amount. If you can see, 45 lakhs that has been generated, the original loan amount is 50 lakhs. That's how SIP, that's how the power of compounding can help you. Can you move on to the next slide, please? All this being said, always ensure that you keep in mind the diversification. You do not invest all of your money into equities or into debt or into only one thing, right? So as you can see on the screen, there are different delicacies. You will not just have buttermilk every day for the rest of your life. You will not only enjoy gulab jamuns for the every day, 4 times a day for the rest of your life. You require flavor of all of these. That's how even equity or debt, depending on your age, depending on your risk taking ability, depending on the needs, it needs to be chosen correctly. So obviously your relationship manager will be able to guide you on that, right? So the general thumb rule goes as, the higher in age, the lesser investment should be in equity. But obviously it depends on your mindset as well. If you believe that equity is a great option for you, if you believe that you have a certain time horizon, you have 10-20 years, and where you have to generate a good, I would say, better than decent amount of money, then equity is a great option for you, right? So you need to have flavors of each, a little bit into equity, a little bit into FDs, a little bit in cash for emergencies, a little bit in debt, right? Little bit into real estate, a little bit into commodity currencies, that is gold. Okay, so diversification is the key. That's what I got to say. Okay, so that's what is suggested. Can we move on to the next slide, please? But you need to keep in mind there is a huge difference between doing it yourself and taking professional advice, right? So if I take an example of, if someone of us becomes ill, what would we do? Would we, go on the internet, try to search for a remedy, or we will go to the doctors and get treated? I'm sure 100% of us will say go to the doctors. So right. So that's how, if you are going to invest, if you are trying to research about a few things to invest, Google will not be the best option for you. Obviously, to do your own research, it will help you out. But just using Google, just doing it yourself, can lead to you not thinking about a few things and maybe do a wrong investment. That can happen because there are a lot of things, especially you see Instagram, Telegram, many different influencers, you can say, or many different types of advices that you get there, right? But a financial advisor would be a best option who would be giving professional advice, who has that research background, who has that kind of a experience behind him or her. That would be a better option. Obviously, at the end, the decision to invest is yours, but you need to have the correct source of information to come to that decision. And that you can get only from professional advice in terms of medical healthcare, doctors, in terms of financial investments, financial advice, a financial advisor or your relationship manager, right? Yes. Can we go ahead? So that is what I had to say. So thank you very much for listening to me and giving me time to discuss all these important concepts with you. If you do have any queries or any questions, please do go ahead. We have the next 10-15 minutes for questions.
So thanks, Kapil. Thanks for a wonderful session for our customers basically. So of course ये session काफी helpful रहेगा हमारे customers के लिए. ये session का सबसे important thing ये है कि बूंद बूंद से घड़ा भरता है और आप छोटे छोटे अमाउंट से जो है आप अपने लाइफ के गोल्स को अचीव कर सकते हैं. That is what the SIP means, systematic investment plan. The only thing required in most important thing is discipline. Disciplined investment will definitely help you to achieve your goals. So we are open for question and answer rounds. So just put your questions in chat box. We will just answer one by one. So Kapil, we have a very first question and a basic question, that is, what is NAV? So can you explain NAV क्या है और उसका importance and I mean उसका role क्या है mutual fund में?
जी जरूर. So NAV basically एक प्राइस होता है ऑफ 1 यूनिट ऑफ अ म्यूचुअल फंड. ओके, तो एनएवी बनता कैसे है? ये एक म्यूचुअल फंड बहुत अलग अलग चीजों में इन्वेस्ट करता है, राइट? अगर आप एक इक्विटी फंड लेते हो, इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड लेते हो, सो इट इज गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट इन सेवरल इक्विटी शेयर्स एट वंस. ओके, तो ये जो एनएवी है, ये इन सब शेयर्स का जो शेयर प्राइस होता है उसका एक आप एवरेज ले सकते हो. वेरी एक बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग दे रहा हूं मैं. So the average of all those investments उसका NAV बनता है. उसका जो average price रहेगा that will be called as the NAV. Okay, so जैसे मैंने बोला NAV 10 rupees पे था. At any new fund offer 10 rupees NAV आता है. तो अगर आपने 100 rupees इन्वेस्ट किया तो 10 पर यूनिट के हिसाब से आपको 10 यूनिट्स मिल जाएंगे. एंड नाउ जब म्यूचुअल फंड्स will be investing in several shares, like I said, तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ दो शेयर्स, वो शेयर्स कितना अच्छा परफॉर्म करते हैं, वो कंपनीज कितना अच्छा परफॉर्म करती है या नहीं करती है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन दैट उनका शेयर प्राइस फ्लक्चुएट होगा. एंड डिपेंडिंग ऑन दोस फ्लक्चुएटिंग शेयर प्राइसेस ये एनएवी भी फ्लक्चुएट होगा. ओके, तो ये एनएवी भी डिपेंडिंग ऑन अगर उनका प्रॉफिट्स में चल रहा है और द शेयर प्राइसेस आर इंक्रीजिंग, द एवरेज ऑफ ऑल दोज constituent shares is also going to go up, then the NAV will also go up.
So basically it's a per unit cost of a particular mutual fund. So we have next question from Mr. Yogesh Gandhi. He wanted to just elaborate the fourth slide, fourth last slide of the our this PPT. I mean, just let me go through it first. So I think he's looking out for this slide. He just wanted a brief description of this slide. I mean, just wanted to understand this slide.
Okay. So इसमें हम लोग फोर्थ लाइफ गोल की बात कर रहे थे, दैट इज एनुअल वेकेशंस। तो एनुअल वेकेशंस के लिए आप एक सर्टन कॉर्पस साइड में रख रहे हो, आप इन्वेस्टमेंट्स कर रहे हो, कीपिंग द इन माइंड दैट फाइनेंशियल गोल। ओके, सो यहाँ पे आप 4.08 lakhs पर एनम इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो अगले 15 साल के लिए। ओके, बट you're not waiting till 15 years to get your returns or start withdrawing. आप छठवें साल से ही, 6th ईयर से ही 5 लाख रुपीज पर एनम विड्रॉ कर सकते हो, एंड यू कैन यूज दैट फॉर योर वेकेशन प्लान्स। ऑलराइट, सो ये जो रेड लाइंस आपको दिख रही है, दे आर योर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, दैट इज 4.08 lakhs पर एनम फॉर 15 ईयर्स। ये आप रेड लाइंस जो देख पा रहे हो। जो येलो लाइंस है, दीज आर द विड्रॉल्स। ये आप देख रहे हो 6th ईयर से 10th ईयर तक, येलो लाइंस, दैट इज 5 lakhs per annum every year, that is 5 lakhs per year। इतना विड्रॉल कर पा रहे हो। अगले 5 साल, दैट इज फ्रॉम 11 till 15th, आप 6.25 lakhs विड्रॉ कर पा रहे हो वो कॉर्पस में से। ओके, then the next 15 years from 16 to 20 आप 7.5 lakhs विड्रॉ कर पा रहे हो। दैट इज हर 5 साल में 1.25 lakhs इंक्रीज कर रहे हो आप विड्रॉल अमाउंट में। सो दैट कीप्स ऑन गोइंग ऑन एंड ऑन एंड ऑन। सो 15 साल के बाद आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट तो बंद हो गया, लेकिन विड्रॉल्स आपके चल रहे हैं। कहाँ से आ रहे हैं विड्रॉल्स? जो आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट्स किए थे, वो इन्वेस्ट हुआ, उसके ऊपर मार्केट ने वर्क किया, उसके ऊपर पावर ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग ने वर्क किया, और आपका एक कॉर्पस बना, और उस कॉर्पस में से आप हर साल विड्रॉ कर पा रहे हो। That is the value of each of those investments: 6.25 lakhs for 5 years, 7.5 lakhs per annum for 5 years, 8.75 lakhs per annum for 5 years, and 10 lakh हर साल आप विड्रॉ कर पाओगे। So that is the whole premise of this graphical representation: investments and withdrawals.
So we have a next question. Can you suggest some SIP plans, and if anybody who wanted to invest in lump sum amount, so few funds accordingly for lump sum and SIP.
Okay. So the funds directly, I won't be able to suggest you here and now itself. What I can give you is a way to think about it. आप अपने रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर बोलिए या जिसके साथ आप टच में हो, उनके साथ इन चीजों के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं। क्या चीजें हैं? आप अपने एज के हिसाब से या फिर अपने रिस्क माइंडसेट के हिसाब से कितना इन्वेस्ट कर पाओगे, इस बेसिस पे आप डिसीजन लीजिए। या फिर आप अगले 5 साल में आपको रिटर्न्स चाहिए, 10 साल में आपको रिटर्न्स चाहिए, कितने रिटर्न्स चाहिए? Depending on all these issues or all these points, you and your manager, your relationship manager, can make the correct decision कि कौन से म्यूचुअल फंड आपके लिए सही है। क्योंकि मैं बताता हूं क्यों। क्योंकि अगर अभी मैं आपको बोल दूंगा कि आप इक्विटी में कर दो, आप इसमें कर दो, आप उसमें कर दो, it might be a very good product, but it might not be suitable to you according to your risk, according to your risk taking ability, और अकॉर्डिंग टू द माइंडसेट दैट यू हैव। या फिर आपको कौन सा फ्लेवर चाहिए, आपको सिर्फ आईटी चाहिए, आपको सिर्फ बैंकिंग चाहिए, या आपको मल्टी कैप चाहिए, हर एक कैपिटलाइजेशन में थोड़ा थोड़ा चाहिए। सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन यू, right? So it needs to be personalized. That is the whole point of being in touch with a great relationship manager, to personalize and not do it yourself. So I would urge you to ask these questions, and on these lines, start investing.
So Kapil, we have last question for the day. Just explain SWP once again. This retirement planning for SWP. So just one slide if you can explain.
Sure. So we can go a little bit behind. I think it's 2-3 slides before this one. यस, राइट। सो जो भी एक आई मीन रिटायरमेंट की बात हम लोग सोचते हैं, हर एक का एक लाइफ साइकिल होता है, राइट। पहले स्टूडेंट लाइफ होता है, उसके बाद नॉर्मली समवन स्टार्ट्स अर्निंग समवेयर अराउंड 22 23, and when he or she comes to somewhere around 30, that is the great time to start thinking about the retirement or retirement planning करना। तो यहाँ हम लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं, 30 साल की उम्र से आप इन्वेस्ट करना चालू करो, या फिर 20 साल की उम्र से भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हो, ठीक है। व्हाट इज द एसआईपी अमाउंट? इट इज 10,000 पर मंथ। तो अगर आपको 50 साल की उम्र में रिटायरमेंट लेना है, यू कैन गो फॉर दैट, यू कैन स्टार्ट एन एसआईपी एट एज 20। 10,000 पर मंथ अगले 30 साल के लिए इन्वेस्ट हुए जा रहा है, एंड एट 12% इट इज गोइंग टू क्रिएट अ कॉर्पस ऑफ 3.08 crores। ओके, सो ये जो 3.08 crores है, ये आपका कॉर्पस बन गया, एंड दैट्स अ गुड अमाउंट टू हैव ऑन योर रिटायरमेंट। क्योंकि वो टाइम पे आने के बाद एक स्टेबल इनकम जो है आपका बंद हो जाता है, राइट। सो दैट टाइम, if you think that 50 lakhs, if you think 1 crore is going to help you, it's up to you. If you think you need higher, because अगले 20 साल में पता नहीं इन्फ्लेशन कहाँ पे कहाँ का कहाँ पहुंच जाएगा, एंड उस टाइम पे अगर आपको ज्यादा पैसे की जरूरत पड़ गई, तो you will not be having the, let's say, the energy, you will not be having the means to earn more। वो टाइम पे आप ज्यादा अर्न करने की कोशिश भी नहीं कर सकते इन अ वे। Hence, better to have a higher amount with you, better to invest, start planning earlier, better to have a higher amount, that is a corpus somewhere around 3.08 crores will be great। उसके बाद उस कॉर्पस में से सिस्टमेटिकली विड्रॉल कर सकते हो। ओके, so that corpus is still in market, is still invested, it is still growing at, let's say, 10% per year, 11, 12, 13% per year। ओके, अब उसमें से आप विड्रॉल्स कर रहे हो at 9%। from that corpus you are withdrawing a certain amount। so वो सिस्टमेटिक विड्रॉल प्लान का अमाउंट भी कितने सालों के लिए चलेगा? अगले 20 सालों के लिए हर साल आप 9% के हिसाब से विड्रॉ कर सकते हो उस कॉर्पस में से। so that will come out to be somewhere around 2.75 lakhs for the next 20 years। you already have a corpus of 3.08 lakhs with you। उसी कॉर्पस में से जो भी रिटर्न जनरेट हो रहे हैं, you are withdrawing the amount out of it। okay, so you have the corpus as well, and you have these withdrawals as well। so they are known as systematic withdrawal plans, because वो जो कॉर्पस है उसमें से विड्रॉल्स के ऑप्शन आपको मिलते हैं। so this is a great concept of SIP plus SWP। आपने पहले थोड़े साल में 30 साल में SIP किया, और अगले 20 साल में आपने सिस्टमेटिक विड्रॉल प्लान का बेनिफिट। so it is just the flexibility that is offered to you, it is not a type of a product, it is not a mutual fund, it is a flexibility option that is made available to you।
So thanks, Kapil. We have one more question
Thank you।
that I will take. Actually, Mr. Deepak Nemane is looking out for the expected return of 18% for the 10 years time period, and approximate investment amount is looking for 1 CR and above. So, Mr. Deepak, I just wanted to tell you that we have various options in mutual fund. Then upgraded of mutual fund is PMS. Then we have upgraded of PMS is AIF. These are the very good investment plans. So for this, if you can write down your mobile number so that our expert will give you a call and explain you all the various options where you can invest and have a good return, expected returns of yours. So please put your mobile number to us. So Kapil, we have this last question with us. So I think there is no more questions, and we are running short of time. So let's close this call. So thank you all for attending this session. will very soon come with next session with the next ideas. So thanks, Kapil. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Khushbu.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Santoshji, and have a very good day, all of you.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you, Tosh. Kapil, I must say this was an very good presentation.
So much.
Yeah.